This sucks. I didn't post a video as soon as it happened because I wanted to learn more about this person, this Charlie Kirk. This husband, this father, who was brutally murdered in front of hundreds of thousands, in front of people watching, his kids watching, his wife. It's absolutely disgusting. And why are people cheering? Like, that's the thing. That's what got me. That's what really got my attention, because it's like, first of all, who is he? I looked him up. Okay, he's a conservative. Okay, big deal. But then I hear the fact that there's people cheering, there's people who hated him, there's people who were calling him all these things, and then I fact check and I look at, he's not any of these things. I don't want to say liberals, because I don't want to make this about left versus right. I've never been one or the other. And if anything, this tragedy shows us why we should really just hear each other and dislike opinions rather than disliking people. Because when you start disliking people, when you start condemning people, it leads to this type of crap. I think politically, if you just look at people with a different political viewpoint as someone with a different roadmap to get to the same place, I think we all can agree about the final destination. Most of us probably can agree about the final destination. What we don't agree about usually is how to get there. So these straw men, like, just because he's pro-gun rights, it doesn't mean he's for the slaughter of innocent children. Those are two very different things. And I think that when you take what someone says and twist it to that degree and straw man to that degree and then have an equally wrathful reaction as if he's literally taking a gun and shooting a child, like, their mindset is just so... They literally see him as a child murderer just because he thinks that every civilian should have the right to have a gun. It's just his opinion. Like, I don't understand the way these people think to be that extreme. I used to be this way, like, when I was in my earlier 20s and in my teenage years, and then in my earlier 20s, I used to kind of go down that rabbit hole, but I never took it to even when I was a teenager took it to that extreme. I don't understand the hatred. First of all, I don't understand the vicious lies, and I don't understand all the hatred. Like, I've looked up who he is. I don't see somebody worth despising. What is going on? What is going on? Like, some say he was a Christian martyr. I think you could argue that he was a Christian martyr because I think that he was far above his politics. I don't think that he should be defined by his politics. That's one thing I will say for sure. He shouldn't be defined by his politics. He was so much more than MAGA. Whether or not you agree with MAGA, he was so much more than that anyway. I think he might have been tried to be peddled by the government, because I don't trust any politicians. I trust no politicians. I think it's very likely he could have been used by whatever government he happened to align with more, in this case Trump. But I don't think he needs to be defined by that. I think he was a lot more defined by Jesus. Like, when he spoke a lot about Jesus this, Jesus that, God this, God wants this. And he seemed to have a very pure heart as far as wanting the best. Now, whether or not you agree that with his worldview was the best, he thought it was. And in his intentions, he just wanted to give everyone the best advice. He wanted to help people. He wanted to build them up. Could he have done this in a better way? Absolutely. Like, I probably disagreed with him about 30% of the time, but this doesn't even matter regardless. A husband and father was murdered. What are we doing? I just watched a video of TMZ, and like, at the second it happened, they were cheering on TMZ. Like, I wanted to make a video about this because I am a Christian. This is a Christian channel. I've been going through some things. I'm gonna start to be a little bit more consistent when I'm posting, but I had to say something about this. Then I also watched him interview with trans activists. Like, he interviewed with Buck Angel. I'm not sure if he ever talked to Blair White. I don't think Blair White ever talked to him, but he interviewed with Buck Angel, and like that was beautiful, open, candid, respectful. He wasn't mean. He wasn't, like, where do people get this idea that he wanted to murder gays, murder trans people, or that he was racist? He wasn't racist at all. He was the opposite of, like, there's literally a video of him saying that there's no difference. There's literal no biological difference between, there's only biological difference in gender. There's no biological difference in race. Like, we're all human, literally. What the fuck? Like, I have a friend of mine who was happy he died. And I was just trying to unpack that. Like, why are you happy a husband and father was killed? I thought I knew who you were. And it's like, people just believe whatever they're fed online. So I don't even want to hear what anyone, conservative or liberal, has to say about him. If I'm going to make my opinion about him, I'm going to do so based on what he's said. And it's very rare, like, we can't even trust that anymore with AI, because you can literally make anyone say anything. You can take their voice, you can take an image, and there you go. You can make them say anything. So I have no idea anymore if something's true. You have no idea. There's so many lies. He did not deserve the vitriol. He did not. And whether or not you think he's a Christian martyr, he was definitely a Christian, and he was definitely used by God. Like, this was a turning point for the entire world. The entire world, like this, and addressing God's sovereignty in that. Like, yeah, there's a lot of great people who have died and didn't get worldwide recognition. I understand that, but God wanted him to have worldwide recognition. It's brought how many people to Jesus? There's absolutely no denying that God used that man. God's hand was on that man, and what he had to say, God empowered him to say it, because it needed to be said. Do I agree with him 100%? No. As I say, there's 30% of the times I might not agree with him, but I definitely would feel like it's worth having the conversation. And maybe I'm wrong. What a concept. I can be wrong too. Like, that's what debate is supposed to be for. That's what university and college once was. So I want to be able to open my mouth without the fear that whoever disagrees with me isn't going to shoot me dead. Like, yeah. Anyway. Like, I get it. Like, especially when he opened his mouth about money, because of course he had conservative viewpoints about that. So you could say that for a Christian, some of his viewpoints about being anti-social programs, for example, or things of that nature, like his conservatism when it comes to money. But then again, I think he was more of the mindset of he wants to help people. He just doesn't want to give Big Daddy government all the power. So again, it's a different roadmap to arrive at the same destination. Like, it's not like he doesn't care about people who are homeless or starving. Of course he cares. That's why he's sitting there trying to say what the solution should be for everyone. Like, instead of a Band-Aid fix of social programs, how about we fix the problem that's causing the Band-Aid to be needed? Like, that's where his heart was coming from. But anyway, the reason I don't agree is because not everyone who finds themselves, in fact, I'd probably say that most people who find themselves on hard times, it wasn't their fault, right? Not everyone is dealt the same cards, and not everyone can have the white picket fence lifestyle that he thinks is the ideal. We're all living our own story. It's a fallen world. We're all so it's just a little less judgment, I guess. It just seemed judgmental, but that's just my opinion of him, and it still doesn't change the fact one bit that he didn't deserve that. Like, this doesn't even matter. Like, but even researching it, that's the most controversial thing I could find about this guy. Why are people cheering his death?